Hello, my name is Joshua Mugabe. I welcome you to Caesalpinia Pulcherrima flower structure. A flower is a reproductive structure of a plant. It is the reproductive structure of the plant, meaning that it has the male reproductive part and it also has the female reproductive part. That's why it is called the reproductive structure of the plant. The Caesalpinia shows the main features of a flower, but different species have different arrangements of the different parts. So it is showing us the basic features of flowers, though there might be some differences in the arrangement, there might be some differences in the shape, size of the different structures in different flowers. The conspicuous part of many flowers consists of petals which are white or brightly colored. The most conspicuous part of a flower are the petals. We say conspicuous because they can easily be seen. The most part which is easily seen are the petals on all the flowers. They may be white, they might be just brightly colored. So these ones are our petals. They are the most conspicuous parts of the flower, easily seen. The petals serve to attract insects, which help pollinate the flowers. So the functions of the petals is mainly to attract insects, which insects will come and pollinate the flower. How do they attract the insects? One, they are conspicuous. They can easily be seen from very far. Secondly, they might be having white or brightly colored, which can be seen from a long distance. The sepals are usually small and they are green. So here we have our sepals. These ones are the sepals. They are small and they are usually green. And then also the other side we have a sepal. The ones that we are seeing outside, those are sepal. If you look at them, comparing them with the petals, you'll see that the sepals are very small and they are green in color. They enclose the flower when it is in the bud stage. All these parts of the plant that we see, the petals, the filaments, the ovary, all those ones, when they are still in the bud stage, all of them, they are enclosed within the sepal. The sepals are the ones that are surrounding all those parts when they are still in the bud stage. The male part of the flower consists of stamen. So we have the male part of the flower, It consists of the stamen, and the stamen includes the anther, these parts that we are seeing on top, rounded structures. Those are anthers. And then it also has the filaments. Filaments are these tubes that you see moving from the anthers and attaching themselves at the base of the flower. Those ones are filaments. So the stamen is made up of the anthers and the filaments. And on top of the filaments, we have the round structures on top. Those structures are the ones that we call the anthers. The stalk of the stamen is the filament. The stalk is that part of the filament which is holding the stigma on top. Is what we are referring to as the filament. That tube moving from down going upwards towards the stigma is what we are referring to as the filament. At the end of the filament is the anthers that contain pollen grain. So we have seen that these are our filaments, but we are saying that at the end of the filament there is this round structure here which we are calling the anther, and in the anther it's where we find the pollen grain. The pollen grains contain the male reproductive cell, which we call the gamete. So what we find in the anthers on top of the filament, we find their pollen grain. And the pollen grains, they contain the male reproductive cells, or what we call the gametes. The female part of the flower consists of carpels. The female part of the flower consists of carpel. The female part of the flower is this part we are seeing here. Then it comes up. This is the style. And from the style it goes to the stigma. But at the lower part here is what we are calling the carpel. This lower part is what we call the carpel. The carpel is the one that is down. And then it contains the style which connects to the stigma. That one is the female part of the flower. The carpel is made up of the stigma, the style, and then it has the ovary, this layer outside, and inside it has the ovule. That's what constitutes the carpel. Each carpel consists of an ovary, which contains an ovule, which is the female gamete. So now we have the carpel, our carpel here, this whole part, and that carpel consists of the ovary. The ovary is this part here, this part that we are having down. That one is the ovary. And the ovary consists of the ovules. The ovules are these ones that we have. Those are ovules, those round structures that you are seeing. They are the ovules, and they are the ones that we call the female gametes. The ovules are found in the ovary, and we refer to them as the female gametes. Extending from the ovary is a style, which ends in a stigma, which receives the pollen from another flower. So we have an extension. This extension, which is coming from the ovary, this one moving up is called a style, and a style ends up in a part which we call the stigma. The stigma is this upper part here. So from the ovary here, we have an extension, and that extension is called a style, and that style ends up in a point called the stigma. The ovules are fertilized, and therefore when fertilized they become seeds, while the whole ovary will be the fruit. So we have the seeds, the ovules. These ovules inside, when they are fertilized, they are going to turn into what we call the seeds. The seeds come from ovules that have been fertilized. Now we have the ovary. The whole of this place surrounding the ovule is what we call the ovary. This ovary outside here is going now to turn into a fruit. The ovary turns into a fruit, and the ovules turn into seeds. The receptacle is the expanded end of the flower stalk. We have the flower stalk, and our flower stalk is this part here. But when it reaches up, it expands. And when it expands, that expanded part is what we call the receptacle. The expanded part is what we call the receptacle, and it is on which the different flower parts are attached. The receptacle attaches itself on the stalk, flower stalk, which attaches it to the branch of the plant. The part of the flower are attached to the receptacle. So you can see most of these parts of the flowers. For example, we have the petal. This petal comes like this, and it joins there, and it attaches itself on the receptacle. Then you also have here the sepal. When the sepal comes, it also goes and attaches itself still on the receptacle. We have the ovary. The ovary is here. You can see that the ovary is also attached on the receptacle. We have the male filaments, like the filaments, you can see these ones, they also come and attach themselves on the receptacle. The filaments of the stamen, they will attach themselves on the receptacle. The nectaries are swellings often at the base of the ovary or on the receptacle, which produce a sugarless solution called. called the nectar. So the The nectaries, they are always attached at that point, either at the base of the ovary or on the receptacle. That's where they attach themselves. Those structures that produce sugarless solution, which we call the nectars. The nectary, they are at the base of the ovary or on the receptacle. The insects visit the flower and they drink or collect the nectar. So insects will come, visit the flower. When they visit the flower, they will go deep in the flower and then they will drink or collect the nectar. Then they will go away. Five sepals which are not joined. There are 5 petals, one being much narrower than the rest and having a nectary at its base. So we have the sepals, there are 5 of them. This is a sepal. We have 5 of them, they are not joined. And then we have the petals, also there are 5 petals, of which one of them is narrower than the rest. And at the base, at their base, that is of the petal, there is the nectary. They have the nectary at the base of the petals. Single ring of 10 stamen with very long filaments. So we have our filament, stamen are these ones here. This is a stamen, and the stamen consists of the filament, and then it also consists of the anther. Anthers are at the tip. They are at the tip of the filament. That one is the stamen. Now, when you come here, they are going to form a ring around the base, and that ring is made up of 10 stamen. So you will see we have stamens here. So we have stamens here, there, that side, and this side. They are attached at the base of the petals and they form a ring inside the flower with 10 stamens with long filaments. A single pod shaped ovary which contains a row of ovules and has got a long style projecting from it. So here we have our pod-shaped single ovary. If you look at it, it is shaped like a pod and it has got a long style. It has got a long style which ends up into a stigma. Ends up into a stigma. But when you move from here, you will see here we have our ovary surrounding the ovules. Then at the end here, they compile and form a style.
Hello, my friends. Thank you very much for participating in Caesalpinia Pulcherrima flower structures. Please do like, share, and subscribe.